Hello, welcome to the second part of my Niall Horan-inspired speed build. This is part of a series I'm doing of homes based off of what I think members of One Direction would like in their homes and kind of homes that represent their personalities. So this is the furnishing of Niall's house. I did the building in a separate video, which is linked below. Um, but when I was furnishing Niall's home, I had a couple things in mind. First, he's Irish, and he's pretty proud of being Irish. He's the only Irish member of One Direction. All of the other boys are from England. So, in his kitchen and in his bedroom, I actually painted an Irish flag as a feature wall in both of those rooms, and I really like the way the one in the kitchen came out. I think that orange is just a really nice orange. The paint version of orange doesn't look quite as orange to me. Um, but yeah, I went with a green, white, and orange theme to celebrate Niall's Irish heritage. And then when I was doing his kitchen, Niall is a bit of a perfectionist, and he kind of strikes me a little bit as a clean freak. So I didn't want to make his kitchen too cluttered, but I did want to give him a big kitchen because Niall is a huge fan of food and he likes having guests over, and he's cooked a few times. He shared some photos on Instagram of himself cooking. I'm not sure if he's good at it, but I know that he has at least attempted to cook before. So I felt like it would be fun to give him kind of like a nice kitchen. Um, I meant to mention in the building part of this speed build, but Niall has a knee problem. He actually had semi-major knee surgery about a year or so ago, and so I built his home all on one level so that he wouldn't have to do stairs. I recently hurt my knee actually, and I learned that going downstairs when you have a knee injury is incredibly painful. Like, for some reason, going upstairs doesn't hurt. Like, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as it does when you go downstairs. So I thought it would be kind of nice to have everything for Niall all on one level. So that's why he has a one-story home. I think he's the only member in this series to have a one-story home. So that's another unique feature of this house for him. The one room that I did base off of something from Niall's real life house was the living room. Niall has shared a lot of pictures on Instagram of his living room because whenever he's watching something on TV or just chilling out, he really likes to take a picture of his living room for some reason and put it on Instagram. So, his living room features a huge sectional and then some built-in shelving on the walls surrounding a giant TV over a fireplace. So I thought briefly about making a sectional for him in the living room, but I just didn't like the way it looked. Uh, but I did implement the shelving and the huge TV over the fireplace. This is the first house in the series that I've built since the movie Hangout pack came out. So I did want to use that huge TV, like wall-mounted projector TV that came with that pack, but I thought it just looked too big for the wall and I wouldn't have been able to put the shelving in. And for me, I just for some reason really wanted to include the shelving. So um, he gets a smaller TV per se, but the TV that he does have is still pretty big. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, the movie Hangout Pack, I absolutely love the build and buy mode stuff in it, and I'm so upset that I did Harry's house before it came out because there were just so many pieces in that pack that I thought Harry would have really liked. But I mean, I think kind of the objects to me in that pack that are really like the most true to who Harry is. We're kind of in the Create-A-Sim area, so I guess it's all right. I mean, there were some boho type things that I think Harry would have really enjoyed. Like there's a few lights and a bunch of different candles and stuff. Um, but that's all right. Maybe I'll build him another home someday. Who knows? But yeah, I was filling up the shelves here, and I was actually playing around with moving clutter around on the shelves by moving the shelves out of place, then putting the clutter where I wanted it, and then moving the shelves back into place. And I had never really successfully done that before until doing this house. So that was kind of a new trick that I learned while doing this. But yeah, I put up a bunch of those like music award type things to kind of represent some of the awards that One Direction have won. Niall does keep a few of them on his shelves in his living room. You can see them in some of the Instagram photos that he posts. So yeah, I threw some of those up on the shelves, and I did have a minor catastrophe with these shelves when I went to do something in the dining room, and it took all of the clutter that I either sized up or moved up or placed on the shelves by moving the shelves out the way I do there and then moving them back in. It deleted all of that when I was doing something in the dining room, and I couldn't figure out what it was that I did that caused all of those items to be deleted. So I went back. Luckily it was in the same gameplay where I was doing the shelves. So I just kind of did like Control Z a bunch of times to go back until all of the items appeared on the shelves again. And then I went back and finished the dining room. So when I do furnish the dining room, there's kind of a weird gap in footage, and there's some objects that I put in that when I redid the dining room, I didn't remember to put back in. So if you're a little confused when I'm doing the dining room and don't really know what's going on and feel like there's something missing, that's basically what happened. Blame EA. They still have these weird bugs from the Move Objects cheat where the items get deleted, normally when you're altering walls or something. Um, but yeah, it's a really frustrating bug, and came back to bite me in this one. Um, but yeah, I kind of had this dead space between the kitchen and the living room, and I didn't really know what to do with it. So I created an entry table for Niall, and I don't know that he would really like something like that. It seems a little bit pretentious, and Niall, I think, is like the most down to earth member of One Direction. Niall's a pretty, I don't want to say simple guy because, like, I don't want to make him sound boring or something. But Niall's he's just very grounded and very humble, and he seems appreciative of what he has. Um, so it's kind of weird to give him, like, a fancy entryway because I feel like he wouldn't want to be fancy. Like, I don't know how to explain it really, but I feel like he's just not a very, like, pretentious person, and entry tables can be a little bit pretentious. I don't know. But yeah, those were just my thoughts. But I had to put something there, and so I just kind of filled it up with some candles and some books. Throughout the home, I didn't want to put in too much clutter because, like I said, Niall tends to keep things pretty neat and orderly. Um, he even keeps his socks organized. He one time, I don't remember whether it was Twitter or Instagram or what, he one time showed off this Ziploc bag that he puts all of his socks into when he travels. And so all of his socks are like organized in this bag, and he like showed it off as if he was like proud of having organized socks. It was really strange, but like really classic Niall, and pretty funny. So yeah, I did end up putting a sectional um, in the conservatory. I just thought it was kind of a nice area to like chill out and relax. I meant to put a guitar in there, but I forgot to put the guitar in. There are a lot of guitars throughout this home, because Niall he's not necessarily One Direction's guitarist, because they still have band members who play the guitar, but Niall can play the guitar pretty well, and if they needed to do an acoustic performance without their band, they could get by with Niall's guitar playing. And Niall he loves playing the guitar. Like, he's pretty proud of himself that he can play. And I don't know, it just seems like a big deal to him. And he seems to really enjoy it too, which I think is always the most important thing with an instrument. I myself play the piano, and I didn't really enjoy playing it that much until I was like 14, 15 years old and was able to play a song through without practicing it first. Um, and then I started to really enjoy the piano, and now I figure out songs by ear all the time. I only play music that I myself would listen to. Like, I don't play classical music or anything like that, just because, like, I don't like listening to it. So I've created versions of a lot of One Direction songs. I've played Taylor Swift songs, John Legend, Sam Smith, Alicia Keys, more of like the pop type music. Um, but yeah, it's a hobby of mine, so I think I kind of understand a little bit like why Niall is so passionate about guitar. Because there's something really relaxing about just sitting down with an instrument and playing. Um, so yeah, I did put a lot of guitars in his house. I also used the movie posters as you saw in the hallway, because I thought that's something that Niall just, I don't know, he might like. Like, if he had vintage movie posters or something, I could imagine him kind of displaying them that way. Um, but this is the guest bedroom that I'm doing here, and I didn't do too much in terms of decorating it, because like I said, I don't think Niall, is a big fan of clutter, so I think he'd like to keep things kind of as minimal as possible, but also have it look comfortable. And then I really I don't know, I really liked the way this room came out. Like, it's very simple, very minimal, there's not a whole lot in it, but like, I think it's really cozy and comfortable. I don't know. But yeah, and then I have the gym here, which I'm not a huge fan of the shape of this room. I wish I had done something like a little better with the layout. But yeah, this is what I came up with in there. But I wanted to give Niall a gym because, like I said, he had a pretty major knee surgery, and he spent a really long time rehabbing from it. And he actually he became friendly with the Chelsea football team, and so he used to go to their training grounds to do his rehab. Which Niall, he's a huge football fan, so he absolutely loved that. And he has like his own little personalized Chelsea tracksuit and everything, and um, but yeah, I wanted to give, excuse me, I wanted to give him a place in his house where he could kind of work out as needed or do some rehab for his knee. I wish they had like a stationary workout bike in this game instead of a treadmill, because treadmills are terrible for your knees. So, like, one of the first things they tell you when you have a knee injury is to get off the treadmill. Or at least that's what they told me. So I'm only allowed to use a stationary bike at the moment. I'm not allowed to use a treadmill or an elliptical, which is kind of frustrating because I set a goal to be able to run a mile, which doesn't sound like a lot. And I know you're probably judging me right now, but I have never run a mile in my life. Like, I have pretty bad asthma, so I was able to get out of doing it when I was in like elementary school and stuff, when we first started running a mile with school. And I've never done it, and I really want to train my body to be able to run a mile. So I was working on that at the gym when I ended up hurting my knee, and now I'm not able to run at all, and it's pretty frustrating. But yeah, this room I created for Niall's nephew. He has a young nephew, I think he's about 3 years old now, called Theo. It's Niall's brother's son, and I thought, I have a bunch of bedrooms to do stuff with, like, what do I want to do? And then I figured, oh, I'll create a room for Niall's nephew to come stay over. So, yeah, I loaded it up with toys and kind of gave it a little dinosaur theme, and I think it turned out pretty cute. And then there's a guest bathroom that I'm doing now, which I just didn't do too much with. I spend so much time on these One Direction houses that there are certain areas where I kind of not really cut corners a bit, but I don't go over the top with. And I think the guest bathrooms are kind of that area for me where it just, to me, it doesn't feel that important to really go overboard with decorating a guest bathroom. Um, but yeah, then there was this little office area, and I included like a lot of rockets and space stuff in this area because Niall is really interested in space and astronomy. Um, he when the International Space Station was orbiting close enough to Earth that you could see it, or something was happening where you could see it in the sky. And Niall was enthralled by this, and he was tweeting about it. He was just really excited. And anytime anything happens with space, Niall is 100% there for it. Like he just really thinks that space is really cool. So I gave him like a model rocket and that rocket poster. And then I ended up using these like jazz paintings that I use in pretty much every house because they're the only like decent painting of its size and shape. So anytime I need a long vertical um, painting or like picture or something, I end up using those jazz paintings. Um, so I hope in like upcoming stuff packs and such that they give us some content that isn't those jazz like hanging things. It's something else that's long and vertical. That would be great. But yeah, I put a map over Niall's bed because I thought it would be cool for him to like have a map and look at all the places he's traveled. So yeah, and it fit nicely there. So that was one of the things. There's another one of the Irish flags that I painted on the wall. The one in the bedroom actually has a panel of orange painted on the wall that joins up with that far wall on the right. Because I thought it kind of was like a little bit of a different look. And also that wall was only 5 tiles wide, and so I was either going to have thick green and orange blocks and a thin white block, or they weren't going to be equal or whatever, and that just really bugged me for some reason. So I ended up putting a panel of orange on the other wall, which turns out is hard to see in this video because I was furnishing with the walls partially cut away. But yeah, I had a lot of trouble figuring out what else I wanted to put in Niall's bedroom because I really didn't want to like give it too much clutter and I didn't want to make it too fancy, but I had a lot of room left and I didn't want to leave it empty because then it looked like he had just moved in or something. So I had been playing around with different things and ended up with that buffet table against the wall and then threw another guitar in there and I think I end up moving around the placement of the furniture again. But yeah, his room was kind of tricky. I spent a lot of time on it just because I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to put in it. Like, it seems like it should be such a simple room because it's just, like, it's not that big. And I don't know, I had a lot of trouble with it. So yeah, and then the windows just, they didn't fit right, so then I put in a different window. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with the rug, so I did end up combining like a bunch of different rugs, and I do kind of like the way it came out. Um, so that was something new and different that I tried in this home, which it's always good to try things that are new and different in The Sims. And then Niall also has a walk-in closet, although his is smaller than Harry's. I think actually size-wise, it's probably the same size, but like I didn't give him as many clothes as Harry, which Niall like doesn't mind repeating outfits, which I love about him because I'm just not a fan of guys who wear a different outfit every time you see them and wear like a $2,500 shirt that is plain and black and looks like every other shirt, but he paid $2,500 for it. I don't know, like I just don't really understand high fashion, I think. Um, I don't really understand the point of it, I guess. And a lot of the looks I'm just not a fan of. Like Harry wears some really out there clothing, but like pretty much every One Direction fan that I know thinks it's really cool because they're like, "Oh yeah, like that's a YSL like silk flower patterned shirt and it looks awful. It looks like something like your uncle would buy on a trip to Hawaii at a like consignment store. But because it was like $3,000, it's suddenly very stylish. Like I don't know. Yeah, I just don't understand fashion. I'm not huge into fashion for women either. It's just like really not my thing. And I feel like I'm not good at being a woman because I'm just not really into fashion at all. But yeah, like that's just my feeling about it. I mean, I like styles and I like shopping for clothes and stuff, but only if it's reasonably priced. Like it just seems absurd to wear some of the really expensive clothing um, that some celebrities, especially Harry, tend to wear. I'm a big fan of Louis' style simply because he wears like ratty sweatpants and like sweatshirts all the time. And like that's my dream in life. Like if I could go through life just wearing sweatpants, I'd be really, really happy. So, I mean, yeah, that's just kind of a rant on fashion, I guess. If any of you guys feel the same way I do, or if you can explain to me why it's a good idea to wear clothes worth thousands of dollars, like shirts that are worth more than probably my car is worth right now, like tell me about it in the comments below. But I personally just, I don't get it. Um, but anyway, I started to furnish the bar that I built for Niall. I made it kind of look on the outside like a garage almost, but we don't have cars in this game, so there's not really like a good reason to put a garage in a house. Um, so yeah, I created a bar for him, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I wanted to give it like an old pub type of feel, and I wanted it to be like very comfortable and a place where it kind of looks like a dingy old bar. Um, and I think it did turn out to look that way, but in a way where it's good. Like, there are some dive bars that are like ratty and gross, and you like wouldn't want to sit on the chairs there or like go to the bathroom. And I don't think that's the look that I gave to this bar. Um, but yeah, I think it's a fun place to go, relax with friends, watch a game, um, put some random decor in there. Um, I went with like more of a green and brown and just like lived in theme for this room. So I used like one of those crates as an end table. Um, and I always want to use the sofas that I ended up deleting in this like pub type room, but I just don't like the colors that they come in. Like the green and the beige and the red, like all the versions of that couch, they don't really match well with any other furniture or any other fabric that they have in the game currently. And I always put them in and then take them out. Like, I never actually keep them in the homes. So, I don't know, I think they should, like, make more furniture that matches those couches. I think that EA in general should make more things in this game that match, because there's a lot of things that they made in this game that don't match, and that's really annoying when you give us a game where you've taken away create a style and then like don't give us matching options. It's it just really gets to me. But yeah, I mean that's just kind of the state of the game as it is now, and you just kind of have to work with it. So yeah, I did get to use that barrel, like this keg, for the first time. I've never used that before, so that was a very exciting moment for me. I was totally geeking out about that. And then I ended up using those grain boxes too, which I also have never used. Um, and I don't really know that they go that well in this kind of like pub bar area. Um, but I was like, yeah, I can use them, so I'm going to. Yeah, and then I had like the coat of arms in there just because I think Niall would think it's funny. Niall actually, fun fact, has a life-size statue of Barack Obama in his backyard. He like really likes Barack Obama, and someone got him a life-size statue of it. I think it might have been his bandmates. I'm not positive on that, but yeah. He has a life-size statue of Barack Obama in his backyard. So he is a fan of some of those like random and totally out there purchases that a celebrity does make sometimes. Um, he just like isn't the type of person where every single thing he owns is wicked expensive and high class and designer like Harry Styles. Not to say that I don't like Harry, because I love Harry. I just think he's kind of over the top with some of his life choices. I don't know. I mean, they all buy stupid things, I guess. They have the money to do it, so, like, who am I to judge? But, like, that's what we all do in this world. We judge each other, so, yeah, I'm gonna judge him. But yeah, I was building the deck, and I really wanted his deck to be a place where people could come and chill out and just have a good time. And I had actually built Niall's house a week before I furnished it. But I waited to furnish it because I saw that the movie Hangout Stuff pack was coming out, and I saw the backyard, like, big screen TVs, and I knew that was something that Niall would love. So I wanted to wait for it to come out so that I could include, like, different movie items in Niall's home. And that backyard TV was, like, the biggest thing for me. So, yeah, that was exciting. And then I built a little, like, hot tub enclosure type thing. I didn't go like crazy in the yard just because Niall is Irish and he has Irish skin, so he burns pretty easily. So I actually, I think you'll see it a little later in this video, but when I built the deck, I built kind of like this roof design over it. So there's a lot of shade actually on the deck where it looks open and it looks like it's in the sun, but it actually isn't. And that's because Niall, yeah, right there, like Niall has Irish skin and he burns easily, and I don't want him to burn. So give him protection from the sun. Hopefully he puts on his sunscreen when he goes outside. Um, but yeah, then I really wanted to use that gaming mat in this house, and I couldn't find the place until finally when I built the deck. I was like, oh, I know where I'll put it, like on the other side of the living room stuff. And then I put the dining table behind the sofas, which I think worked out really nicely because you can sit at the table and talk, or you can sit at the table and also watch the TV. So that's pretty cool and like a nice feature, I think. And then I really wanted to use that new rug that came with movie hangout stuff, but they don't have a lot of masculine colors with that rug, and I had used the only like really like masculine looking version of it in Niall's dining room. So I didn't want to repeat it on the deck, so I ended up using like kind of like I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a Mexican design rug. And then for the table, I made my own rug out of floor tiles. Um, but yeah, Niall also, he loves to grill. That's another thing that he likes to Instagram is himself grilling. And so I wanted to give him a big grilling area, and then I also put a bar in over there because I think for Niall you could probably never have enough bars in a house. It's always nice to have um, some beer easily within reach. And I really like the way the outdoor kitchen kind of came out. Like, I think it's really fun and it's a little cluttered, but not like too cluttered. Um, but I think it turned out really cool. And then, yeah, I was just kind of fixing the roofing over here. I wanted to add a little more shade in. I didn't feel like there was enough shade for Niall, so um, I kind of just added some more, and then some of the floor tiles that I didn't mean to delete had gotten deleted. So it was really just kind of refining that look on the deck. I think that area just turned out to be like pretty cool looking. I don't know. I'm proud of it. You might think it looks terrible. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below, but I don't know, I had fun like doing it. It's just kind of like a free-form design. Um, yeah, and I don't know, it was like, I don't know, I kind of like relaxed while doing it and just like deleted some random things and yeah, had a good time. Then I had to just figure out some final decorations for the deck. I think I put in like a console table, um, yeah, over by that wall. And I actually ended up using like the police, it's like a wall decoration. I'm not really sure like what it's supposed to be. I think it's just supposed to like be a design that says police station. But I thought it looked really cool. It kind of looks like an eagle, and Niall is a huge fan of the Eagles, like the band. He is devastated currently because the Eagles guitarist passed away. Now looking at that, I don't know why I thought it looked like an eagle, but I remember when I was building, I was like, oh, this looks like an eagle, like, Niall will love this. But yeah, their guitarist passed away, and poor Niall, and I'm sure all Eagles fans are, like, heartbroken over it, and I think Niall's made, like, 3 separate Instagram posts about it, and he's very upset, so it's a hard time for him, and hard time for many people, I'm sure. And then I added in like a little, I like to think of it as a karaoke area with a microphone and some guitars and that little like idol rug. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But yeah, these are the screenshots of the home. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be taking a short break from this series just to put up a video of a gypsy caravan that I built. So that should be coming pretty soon. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up below. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and let me know what type of content you would like to see me do and what type of houses you'd like to see me build, since I'm almost done with this series, so I'm gonna need something new to do soon. So let me know what you'd like to see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.